The moment you get what you want, you stop wanting it. Think about it. You desperately crave for that promotion, that relationship, that apartment, that body. You fantasize about it. You work for it. You lose sleep over it. And then you get it. And within weeks, sometimes days, that happiness goes away. The promotion becomes just another job. The relationship becomes routine. The apartment needs cleaning. The body needs maintaining. This is the pendulum of desire. We swing between the pain of wanting and the boredom of having. We are never satisfied because the satisfaction itself is the death of desire. And without desire, we feel empty. But here is where it gets really twisted. We don't actually want to eliminate desire. A life without wanting is a life without direction, meaning, or motivation. It isn't peace, it's a death by another name. So, we are trapped. We suffer when we want, we suffer when we have, and we suffer when we want nothing at all. The question isn't how to escape desire. The question is, are we even desiring the right things? Have you observed that we don't generate our own desires? We copy them from other people. This is called mimetic desire. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You don't want the luxury car because of the car itself. You want it because you saw someone you admire driving one. Or maybe your neighbor or friends or relatives having one. You don't want that career path because it genuinely excites you. You want it because society has taught you that this is how successful people look like. We are desire copying machines, constantly looking at others to figure out what's worth wanting. And social media? It's mimetic desire on steroids. Every scroll is a catalog of curated desires, each one whispering, "This is what you should want. This is what happiness looks like." Think about your biggest desire right now. Really think about it. Can you trace where it came from? Did it emerge organically from your unique experience of being alive? Or did you acquire it by watching someone else live a life you decided looked better than yours? Most of our desires are not ours at all. They are copied or taught. And we are suffering for dreams we didn't even choose. Do you know that your brain is terrible at predicting what will make you happy? We consistently overestimate how good we will feel when we get what we want and how bad we will feel when we don't. That dream job, you will adapt. That heartbreak, you will adapt. The human psyche has an amazing ability to return to baseline no matter what happens. This is like a treadmill. We call it hedonic treadmill. You are running and running, achieving desire after desire, and you are not getting any happier because your baseline keeps adjusting. What was once a luxury becomes a necessity. What once brought joy becomes normal. Jeff Bezos probably doesn't feel 200 billion times happier than you. The person with 1 million Instagram followers isn't having a better internal experience than you. They are just on a more expensive treadmill, running just as hard, returning to the same emotional baseline. The problem is, we keep betting for our happiness on the next achievement, the next acquisition, the next milestone, believing this time it will be different. This time the satisfaction will last. It never does. It never will. So, what should we do? See, not all desires are created equally. Let's try to break them down. Surface desires are the obvious ones: food when you are hungry, water when you are thirsty, sleep when you are tired. These are clean, biological. They arise, get satisfied, and resolve. No existential crisis required. Then comes the instrumental desires. These are the means to an end. You want money, but you don't want money itself. You want what it provides: security, freedom, status. These desires are useful but dangerous because we often lose track of the end goal and start optimizing for the instrument itself. We sacrifice our health for wealth, forgetting that wealth was supposed to buy health. Terminal desires are end in themselves: love, meaning, beauty, connection. These are what the instrumental desires are supposed to serve. But here is the problem: terminal desires are often vague, hard to achieve, and impossible to satisfy permanently. So we focus on the instrumental desires instead because they are miserable. We can count money, but we cannot count meaning, love, or connection. Then comes the shadow desires. These are the desires we won't admit to: the desire to be superior, to be envied, to watch others fail, to be special, to matter. These are the hidden desires we present to the world and to ourselves. But they are there, shaping behavior, driving decisions, creating suffering. Most of our confusion comes from mixing these up. We chase surface and instrumental desires, wondering why we feel empty, not realizing we have neglected the terminal desires that actually matter. Or we are unconsciously acting out of shadow desires while pretending we are motivated by something noble. So, is desire the problem or the solution? The Buddhists say desire is the root of suffering. Eliminate craving, eliminate suffering. Reach nirvana, the state of no desire, no lack, no need. Pure equanimity. The existentialists say desire is meaning in itself. To desire is to care, to value, to be alive. A life without desire is a life without purpose. Embrace the absurdity and want anyway. So, who is right? What do you think? Desire becomes a trap when it's unexamined, borrowed, insatiable, or attached to an unchanging outcome. When you need reality to be in a certain way to be okay, you have imprisoned yourself. But desire becomes fuel when it's aligned with your values, flexible in its expression, and held lightly. When you want something but can release it. When you pursue goals while enjoying the pursuit. When you care deeply about outcomes but don't collapse when things don't go as planned. When you are not attached to the outcomes. The difference isn't in having or not having desire, it is in your relationship to the desire. Are you being pulled by your desires like a puppet on strings? Or are you consciously directing your wanting aware of its source, its nature, and its potential to both enrich and destroy your life. So, how do you decode your own desires? Let me share a practice. First, name them. Write down everything you want: big, small, shallow, deep, no judgment. Get it all out. You can't examine what you won't acknowledge. Second, trace them. For each desire, ask, where did it come from? Can I remember the first time I wanted this? Did I see someone else have it first? What do I think this will give me? What am I really after? Third, test them. Imagine you have it, then visualize it. Now, fast forward 1 month, 6 months, a year. Are you still satisfied? What new desire have replaced this one? If you are honest with yourself, does getting this thing really change anything fundamental about your experience of being alive? Fourth, classify them. Is this desire surface, instrumental, terminal, or shadow? If it's instrumental, what terminal desire does it serve? If it's shadow, can you acknowledge it without shame? Fifth, choose consciously. Not all desires deserve to be acted upon. Not all itches need to be scratched. You get to decide which desire you feed and which you let starve. This is maybe the only real freedom you have. Sixth, hold lightly. Pursue what you want, but with an open hand. Be willing to let go. Be willing to change your mind. Be willing to be wrong about what you thought you needed. The goal isn't to become desireless, it is to become conscious, to wake up to the game you are playing and decide if you want to keep playing it the same way. Underneath all the borrowed dreams, the biological urges, the status games, and the hedonic treadmills, there is a deeper desire that powers everything else. It's not desire for a thing, it's desire for a state. We don't want the relationship, we want the feeling of connection. We don't want the money, we want feeling of security and freedom. We don't want the achievement, we want the feeling of worthiness and significance. Everything we chase is an attempt to feel in a certain way. And the cosmic joke is that the feeling we are after doesn't actually come from getting the thing. It comes from how we relate to ourselves and reality in the present moment. You can have everything and feel empty. You can have nothing and still feel complete. We have all met both kind of people. The desires themselves are innocent. They are just the psyche's way of moving you through life, of giving you direction and motivation. But they become problematic when you believe the lie that satisfaction is just one more achievement away. It never is, it never was, it never will be. Satisfaction, peace, fulfillment, these are not the destinations you arrive at by getting what you want. They are ways of moving through the world, through your life, that you can access right now, regardless of the circumstances. So, where does this leave us? Desire is not your enemy, it's not something to transcend or eliminate or feel guilty about. Desire is the human experience. It's how evolution shaped us to stay alive and engaged. But desire without awareness is slavery. You become a biological robot, responding to the stimuli, chasing carrots, dangled by algorithms designed to keep you wanting. Desire with awareness is freedom. You still want, you still pursue, but you are awake to the game. You can see the strings. You notice when you are copying someone else's dream. You catch yourself on the hedonic treadmill and can sometimes choose to step off, even for a moment. The point isn't to stop wanting, the point is to want consciously, authentically, lightly, without being very serious, stressed, and anxious about it. To desire without being enslaved by it. To pursue without being owned by the pursuit. To care deeply while holding loosely. This is the art of being human. This is what it means to decode your desires, not to eliminate them, but to understand them so completely that they lose their power to control you unconsciously. You are not your desires. You are the space in which desiring happens. You are the one who is observing all these desires. The awareness that witness the wanting without being consumed by it. And maybe, just maybe, that awareness is what you were really looking for all along. So, I will leave you with this. What if the desire to decode your desires is just another desire? What if the wanting to want differently is just the same mechanism in a new disguise? Think about it. If this made you question everything you thought you wanted, you are exactly where you need to be. Now you know what to do next. Thank you.